where reports are coming out of Iran that the new leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, has already been injured in a strike. These are unverified, but there are media reports. I asked former National Republican Party spokeswoman Elizabeth Pipko about this a little earlier. Elizabeth, great to see you again. The president has today reacted to the announcement that the late Ayatollah Khamenei's son, Mojtaba, would be his replacement. What has Trump indicated about whether the US will accept his leadership?
Well, look, I think the president has made very clear what he wants for the future of Iran. Anyone that's following this knows not only what the president has been saying about Iran for many, many years now, they know how this mission has gone thus far. They also know that we've lost American lives. And for the president, he's not going to allow for this mission, these strikes, to be in vain. So he's not going to allow anyone to take over Iran that will probably continue to lead in the same way that it has been led up until this point, threatening not only the people of Iran, but threatening the United States and our allies around the world, too. So I don't think the president will be very happy with this new replacement, Ayatollah, and I can only imagine his words when he found out that that was the choice, and knowing that his mission was going to have to continue on with or without this choice, considering he has a lot of other options in mind. I don't know how bad the situation is for this new Ayatollah, but based on what our president has said, I don't think he's going to last much longer anyway.
And there are reports that he's been injured, unverified at this point.
Correct, yes. I'm told he's injured. I don't know how bad it is. But again, the goal is to make sure this is not the future leader of Iran. So I imagine this is not going to continue on either way.
President Trump has also given some comments about the length of the war. He initially predicted it could be 4 to 5 weeks, but today he said it could be over soon.
Well, look, I think the president's goal is for it to be over as quickly as possible. That should be our goal as well, right? The entire world should be rooting for this to be as concise as possible and to come to an end as soon as possible. But we never know how long that's going to take. I think the people, not only of our country in the U.S., but around the world, have always appreciated President Trump's transparency when it comes to things like this. A lot of presidents keep a lot to themselves, whereas Donald Trump wants as much information out as possible so the people that elected him understand exactly what he's doing. So he's updating us as things are progressing. I believe, based on his statements, things are progressing faster than he had anticipated, which is a great sign. We're not going to know anything, of course, until the war is officially done and behind us, but I think that was a very positive update.
There are media reports that there are now strains in the relationship with Vice President J.D. Vance and the president based on different opinions about the war. Can you tell us about this, Liz?
Well, look, I'm not going to speak for the president nor the vice president. I can tell you, based on what I know, everybody in our administration is incredibly unified. J.D. Vance knew exactly the ticket that he was joining when he agreed to become President Trump's vice president. He's an incredibly smart man. He knows exactly what the United States has to do when dealing with a threat like Iran. And he also knows, like most of us, what President Trump has been saying about that threat for the last few years. He knows that Donald Trump believes that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. J.D. Vance, obviously in the best interest of the United States, believes the exact same thing. And if there are any disagreements, I can assure you they are minor ones. And with that only comes a lot of opportunity for conversation, for discussion, for proper planning, with a lot of opinions at the table, trying to come to the proper and best solution for everybody. So I don't really pay attention to rumors, and I hope most people realize when there is something as serious as these strikes on the table, no one is feuding in any United States administration.
Liz, we've seen strong dissent from figures like Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly. Some of this is anti-war, but some verges on being anti-Semitic. How widespread are these views within the MAGA movement?
Well, look, there's polling that shows that the majority of Republicans approve not only of President Trump's leadership up until this point, but specifically of these strikes. There is polling that shows how many Americans have a negative view, of course, of the Iranian regime. I know that this is exactly what had to be done. Donald Trump does not pay attention, I can tell you, to podcast hosts or anybody on social media. He knows what he has to do. He has already put his statements about Tucker Carlson out there. He has made that opinion very, very clear. And I think for most of us, it's about making sure that we know the history that the United States has dealt with Iran, that the entire world has dealt with Iran, and that is why this decision was made. And no one is paying attention to social media, to anybody that wants clicks. They're solely paying attention to freeing the people of Iran, avenging those American lives, of course, that were taken by this regime, and making sure Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. Those are really the objectives that matter to the president, and I can probably assure you he hasn't really noticed much of the negative commentary that exists solely on Twitter and not really in the real world.
Yeah, very good point. This isn't the real world. It's just for clicks and for making money as well. Just finally, the president spoke with our Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, overnight. He encouraged him to give asylum to the brave Iranian soccer players who are in Australia right now. The government has now done that with 5 players who've requested it. But this saga has been going on for nearly a week. Was there concern in the United States that the Albanese government was too slow to act?
Well, look, everyone that paid attention to Donald Trump's statement saw that he said if Australia does not do this, the United States will. So I can only imagine he was slightly concerned with what was going to happen to these athletes. I think for him, it was about getting the right thing done. And if Australia did not do it, he was going to. He let everybody know that. He is pretty transparent, as I said earlier, and in that Truth Social post, he didn't let the administration speak. He spoke himself as Donald Trump, the human, who was worried about the lives of these athletes, and he said this needs to get done. So I assume he was pretty worried and clearly made his point known that if Australia didn't do it, America would have handled it.
Elizabeth Pipko, really appreciate your time as always. Thank you.
Thank you.